smoking Dank Sinatra, that's all gas. On the hunt in the tall grass. Intercepting every ball pass, then I run it back, that's a TD. Check the scoreboard, y'all last. We up one, you see me. Pussy niggas wanna talk about it, go to Hellcat, no demon. I be politicking on your broadcast at the red carpet like the famous homie. Ask your bitch, really famous homie, and you know it's in me. It ain't on me. So creative like I made Adobe. I've been balling like I played with Kobe.
What's the deal? What's the deal? PolitiKan the podcast. We back again Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We've been going 7:30 a little bit later because we've been watching this Lakers, get blew out by Memphis. They had a little bit of hope, man. We thought it was over. But let's get to these topics, man. First topic we got. We all know, man, the Clippers, they went home, man. And it comes out that Kawhi Lenard has another tear in his kneecap that is separate from the last one that kept him out of a whole season and almost a season and a half, just about. So, terrible news for the Clippers. Then we're going to get to the Lakers, man. So, the Lakers just lost it as 3-2. They go back to L.A. and have an opportunity to close this series out. So, let's get to our predictions as far as the Los Angeles Lakers, how far they can go. Then it's been the talk of all NFL offseason, man. Aaron Rodgers getting traded to the New York Jets. And now that it is official. So Aaron Rodgers is officially a New York Jet. Does that make them Super Bowl contenders? This news right here was a shocker, man. Pras from the Fugees. He's come out. He's been found guilty of political espionage or something along those lines. I guess he came out as an FBI informant, and it has us thinking how many other informants are implanted in the hip-hop community. And we knew this was coming, but the Democrats tried to find every other option but Sleepy Joe, but they didn't have nothing else. So Sleepy Joe has officially announced his candidacy for president in 2024. What's the deal, y'all?
What's good, man?
Man, you already know, man. These topics, we got to get straight to them, man. So, first thing we got to get to, man, is Kawhi Lenard, man. With another tear in that same knee that kept him out, he has 1 year left on his contract in which he has a player option. And he can opt in. So technically, he can opt in. He can sit out all next year, opt in, and then come back from injury again. What are your thoughts on this injury with Kawhi, and what should the Clippers do? He has a no trade clause. He has that player option, and he's still under contract for another year. What are your thoughts?
It's now official, ladies and gentlemen, that, well, I've been saying it, but it's now official that Kawhi Lenard, if you guys say my boy D Rose is injury prone, Kawhi Lenard has to be under the same category. And not far behind him is his partner in crime, which you see in the screen right now, is Paul George. Both of these guys are injury prone, ladies and gentlemen. And at least my boy D Rose, he got injured and he played, and then he get injured again. Kawhi, he get injured. No, he go on load management, come back, then get injured. When you already been sitting out the whole season. That don't make no sense. So, what the Clippers can do? Absolutely nothing. Y'all can't do anything. He got to know you can't trade him, right? He can opt in if he wants to. And at the end of the day, Kawhi Lenard, you would still want him on your team in the playoffs. What they should do is do what the New York Knicks are doing. And I think they should take a page out of the New York Knicks' book and do what they're doing with Derrick Rose. What if you play Kawhi when he gets better? What if you play Kawhi like 20-something games and you kind of sort of sit him out, right? Now, this is my theory because I want to see my boy D Rose play. So I think they're just reserving him for the right time. That's why we made it to the next round, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks are in the next round. D Rose is going to the next round. Okay, I'll get on that a little bit later. But if you let Kawhi sit and then he only plays in the playoffs, hopefully he doesn't get injured. Well, that's kind of sort of what you guys did this year anyway. I don't know, man. I don't know. Y'all can't do nothing.
I mean, with this contract situation, man, is like with that player option and that no trade clause, and us moving to a new stadium next year, we're kind of stuck. And as far as like selling out season ticket holders or people rushing to go buy tickets for this new stadium, it's gonna kill their whole momentum if they know day one, game one, opening night, Kawhi Leonard is not going to be available. And with this news coming out today, we already know that when that comes out and they have that opening for this new stadium, Kawhi Leonard will not be on the court. So as far as like a business standpoint, I mean, this hurts the Clippers franchise financially in ways that we don't even understand yet. But as far as like Kawhi as a whole, it's a big thing. Stephen A. Smith was calling for Kawhi to retire. And I think that was a bit excessive. Like, you don't call for a man to quit his job. If you have one bad report, do we say, oh, you need to retire, you need to retire, you're done? So it's crazy how like they do this to athletes. Like, you make one mistake, you get one injury, you fall short of one goal, and they try to make it seem like it's over for you. Like everything you did before that doesn't matter, and all we got is what you did today. And
I know that pain.
That is an injury, man. And it's not like he wanted to be injured. Nobody wants to be injured unless you Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis wants to be injured the way he be playing out there. It's ridiculous.
If anybody knows your pain, I know your pain.
So the Clippers are in a conundrum right now, man. You got Paul George that keep coming back from catastrophic injuries. The fact that Paul George is still the player that he is after the injuries that he has suffered, from shoulders to knee to the leg to ankle to, it's crazy that he's even still a superstar after all the injuries he sustained. And now Kawhi Leonard, all that load management for no reason. I think that that's definitely going to go. People are going to start going against the analytics and all this sitting out and load management. It became very popular when Toronto did it and Kawhi went and won a championship over there. Everybody else said, look, it worked. He got a championship. So then everybody else start to load manage, including LeBron James and Anthony Davis, which didn't play no back-to-backs all season. Ain't played no back-to-backs in multiple seasons. But everybody wants to point out our team in LA, but the other team in LA is low managing just as much. This is crazy, man. The Clippers.
Injury.
And we were just talking the other week about what team should blow it up if they lose in the first round. And you came out and you said the Clippers are the team. And I sat here and I was screaming at you, hell nah. Because I couldn't believe that we would be in this position that we are in. But yet, we are, man. We gone fishing, man. We got sent home. Sad
but you guys
story.
can't do nothing, though. Unfortunately, if he wasn't injured and you guys try to trade him, that's different. But he ain't going nowhere. He's about to cash in and get that money. Why not sit on the bench? My boy D Rose is making $15 million and only played 22 games, 22 games this year.
Hey man, that's green. That's green like a mug. I don't care if as long as I could still get a ring, and I can still get my paycheck. I'm getting playoff paychecks, and I ain't even playing. As long as I'm on a playoff roster, I get a playoff paycheck. So
that's what Kawhi's about to do.
Shit, man. Well, let's get to this other team. And the Lakers just lost to Memphis, man. So they were up 3-1. They had a chance to close it out, and they lost in blowout fashion. The game was close a few times, but for the most part, the game wasn't even close, man. So all this talk about the Lakers but Anthony Davis and LeBron James don't have much left in the tank, and they're gonna burn out real fast. So what other players besides Anthony Davis and LeBron James do you think is key for the Lakers to not only win this championship, but actually compete for a title, since everybody has them picked to come out the West?
I would like to state this. I am not able to answer this question because I don't even know who the hell is on the Lakers roster because I don't watch the Lakers. I don't like the Lakers. I don't like nothing to do with the Lakers. So, on that note, though, I would just like to say, Calum, our lovely host, he pushes. This is the second time. Now I'm talking to y'all. He pushed back, the podcast for the other gentlemen to be able to watch the game, right? And we get on these, and we in a group message, and all of them are talking on the group message. And then this is the second time, ain't nobody here. What is going on? And it's always when the Lakers lose.
Mm-hmm.
I just, if this was last week, or the last time the Lakers won where LeBron was like, because he got an and-one foul. If this was a couple games ago and we did the podcast, they'd be all up on here. Oh, Lakers, we taking it. This is exactly what the Laker fans do, ladies and gentlemen. When y'all lose, y'all ghost. Nowhere to be found. Y'all win, we taking it all the way, baby. We taking it all the way.
You should have seen the Laker fans yesterday. You should have seen my phone erupt as soon as the Clippers lost. As soon as we were officially eliminated, my phone started to ring off the hook with all Laker fans talking about, we run LA. And then they turn around and lose the next day. And it's like, where are you guys at? I just look at this roster right now and I'm like, man, Anthony Davis shows up 1 out of 5 games, so you're gonna get 2 games out of him, a series, 7. Austin Reeves, everybody's talking about AR-15, the white boy Austin Reeves, and he got game. But is it Jeremy Lin had game? Is that something that can carry you to a championship? Is that something that's going to translate long term? I think that he's like in Linsanity right now. I don't think that he's going to be able to sustain this long term. D'Lo, how many teams has D'Lo been on since he's left the Lakers and now returned? So, he's a journeyman. He's proven that he's not reliable, because if he was, he wouldn't have been on so many teams and be on his second stint back with the Lakers. And then you look at a dude like Dennis Schroeder. They need him to guard a guy like a Ja Morant to slow him down. And he's done a good job on that when Ja Morant's hand wasn't healthy enough. But now that health is coming back in his hand, Ja Morant out there scoring on this guy as well, he's too small, doing the jet. Oh, he's too small. He can't fuck with me. So Dennis Schroeder at this point is a liability in this Memphis series, because if Ja's out here manhandling you, taking you straight to the rack and telling you too small, it's either you're going to have to go big or you're going to have to go a guard lineup. And I don't think with this roster, I don't see them getting out of this Memphis situation. I thought that Ja Morant's hand injury would be worse than what it is. And seeing Ja's performance today, if the Lakers don't win tomorrow, not tomorrow, but the next game in LA, then going back to Memphis for Game 7, I just don't see the Lakers winning that.
What, the series is 2-2?
So the series is 3-2. So it was 3-2 coming into today in Memphis. Mm-hmm. The Lakers had an opportunity to send them home, and they got blew out on Memphis floor. And it's just like, home court advantage, man. This is why the standings mean so much. They said, oh, the standings don't mean nothing. All we need to do is get in. We can beat anybody. Yes, you can beat anybody, but you can't beat anybody on the road. It's a different comfort when you wake up out of your bed, you kiss your wife, you say bye to your kids, you drive down to you park in your regular parking spot, you go to you ate at home, you ain't in no hotel room, you ain't jet lagged. It's completely different when you're at home.
Familiarity.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a different energy. It's a different vibe. It's a whole different scenario when you're at home. And because Memphis has that home court advantage, I trust Memphis to get a win on the road over the Lakers getting a win on the road at this point in the series. So I got
I'm hoping that
Memphis in 7.
takes it. I'm hoping that it goes to 7 and Memphis take it. I'm not going to be surprised if Memphis loses the next one. I just think with Memphis, I don't know what it is. I can't say they need another piece. I don't know what it is. Memphis is missing something, and it ain't experience. I just think they just need one extra piece. So the Lakers going to the next round, okay, maybe, but they ain't getting past the next round. I'm hoping that the Lakers lose in 7, so then they can go home. And then, but if the Lakers lose the next one, Caleb, I think it's just going to be me and you again. And then if they lose the one after that, so I'm guessing if we go into Game 7, the next 2 podcasts is just going to be me and you because these Laker fans ain't going to show up when they lose.
And then it's even if they get past them, you got Golden State or you got the Kings in the next round. I don't see you standing a chance against either one of those teams. And then you got Denver and Phoenix playing each other. So then you'll have to pay the winner out of Denver and Phoenix if you found a way to beat the Warriors or the Kings. So then you will have to get past Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and them or a 2-time MVP Jokic. So, I mean, they got Murray back. They got Porter Jr. balling.
This year's NBA championship chances is wide open. I told my wife, this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that the freaking Miami Heat knock off the Bucks. Then it will be Miami versus New York. I think New York can take that. Then my boy D Rose is going to the Eastern Conference. Now, I'd rather him play Boston over Philly because Embiid, New York is not good when it comes to playing against the center. We may still lose against Boston, but we got a better chance. And so if we can get past Boston, I'm just letting you know now, I'm going to New York to see my boy D Rose in the championship. So you're going to see that footage if we make it that far. On the West, it's wide. Like at this point, it's wide open. You don't know who's going to make it. Clippers gone now. Okay. Lakers is every game they on the fence. You don't know who's going to show up. Like, I guess who needs to step up? Anthony Davis. Because if Anthony Davis shows up for the rest of this playoffs, then the Lakers have a fighting chance almost against every other team. If they go against the Kings, they got a better chance of beating the Kings only because D Fox is injured and Anthony Davis. But going against Golden State, who's going to stop Steph? Then you got to go against Jokic, or you got to go against Durant and Chris Paul in them. It's a wide open. Long as the Lakers don't win.
Everybody keeps saying the Lakers can beat anybody, but the Lakers can't beat nobody on the road
right now.
You know what I'm saying? So how can the Lakers beat anybody when you got a 40-year-old LeBron James running out of gas in the first round because he had to fight to get into the play-in tournament and then win in the play-in tournament and then possibly go to a 7-game series in the first round just to make it to the semis. I mean,
if the
that's
Lakers don't win the next game, it's like they got to go into. It's like they're going to be going into 7-game series all the way up to the championship. You're going to be gassed out by then.
That's why I see the Lakers don't got it. I just think that age is a big thing. Anthony Davis don't got much left in the tank, and LeBron James, he was beating on his chest, but then you got to win in overtime, and this is how you knew that you was going to lose today because you had to win in overtime. So LeBron James beating on his chest, getting an overtime victory, but you tired as hell. You had to wake up 12 hours later and get on a plane to travel to Memphis.
Total on the body.
Once we get past those first 4 games, there's no longer two days in between the games. It's only 1 day in between the games. So if you finish that game at 9 p.m. and you got a 6-7 hour flight to your destination, then the next 24 hours you got maybe 6-7 hours of downtime before it's time to get ready to play another game.
Like, people, we got to think about this. I am 34, about to be 35 in May, right? When I wake up, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, man, I knew I shouldn't have stayed up and watched the final episode of Snowfall. I shouldn't have seen that. Like, I should have just waited the next day and watched it. But no, I wanted to stay up and watch it. And that's just watching TV and at our age, right? And if whatever we do and we get tired off of our body, they put in their body through the ringer. And you got to go, it's like playing the back-to-back.
No way.
And they too old.
No way.
Speaking of old.
Nah, it's a bunch of old niggas getting money out here still. For some reason, they like to pay old niggas money because Aaron Rodgers, he got a fat re-sign from the Packers. And we're like, why is the Packers re-signing him? Oh, they're re-signing him to trade him. They talked about it all offseason, and now it is official. Aaron Rodgers is officially a Jet. He has been traded to the Jets for like 6-7 draft picks. So they traded a whole bunch of draft capital to get Aaron Rodgers over there for a year, possibly 2 years, and they hoping to have the same magic that Tampa Bay had down there with Tom Brady over in New York with Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers is officially a New York Jet. Does this make the Jets contenders, or are they still pretenders, man? You traded nothing but draft capital, so you still have all your roster and your star players intact. So you still have all the talent. You just traded away your future so that you can, try to win now. What's your thoughts on the Jets? And do you think that they are actual contenders?
Contenders, probably not. Would they get further than where they were? I believe so. I think Aaron Rodgers is still a good quarterback at the end of the day. What it really makes me think about is, ladies and gentlemen, we are just numbers to the employers. You gotta, if this doesn't make you think, you said that they re-signed him just to trade him. Now, did they talk to him about it? We don't know, right? So let's go off of the assumption of they didn't talk to him about it. They re-signed him just to trade him. So while you putting all your eggs in one basket at your little job, don't think they're not going to fire you. That side note. Jets, they may do better. I know my boy, he's a Jets fan, so they're going to do better. But as far as, you still got the Chiefs, right? I mean, didn't the Ravens get better? I mean, you still got Seahawks. Yeah, the Seahawks is still taking it. 49ers got better. something like that. When y'all figure out what quarterback y'all want to go with. You still gotta get through a whole bunch of teams, so I ain't sold on them being well, you said playoff contender. So could they make it to the playoff? Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Championship? No.
It's Super Bowl or bust at this point. If you go out and you get a player like Aaron Rodgers and you bring him into this locker room with the amount of talent that you have on your roster at the time, and you didn't have to trade any of your current players or any of your talent away to get him, you just traded away draft capital, then there's no reason why he shouldn't walk in. He has a full off season to get acclimated with your system. His old coaches are already there, so it's the system he's familiar with. So you do this move so that you can go and win a championship this year or the next. So you're going all in for the next 2 years, trying to win a championship in New York with Aaron Rodgers. And I think that that's a smart move, man. Fuck them picks, man. You know, ever since the Rams did that and LeBron said that, and I think that that's a good strategy, man. You built the draft capital up so that you can get proven people to go out there and get the job. It's one thing to like mold talent. It's one thing to like draft talent, but it's a whole nother thing to have like a championship caliber quarterback and championship mentality. And that's something that is rarely found in a lot of these good quarterbacks. They're good. They have all the intangibles, but they don't have like that it factor. And Aaron Rodgers has that it factor. And I think the Jets had to give up everything because they went all in for this. This is all they talked about all offseason. If they didn't get him, they was either gonna have to go get somebody like Cam Newton. And we know they don't want no Cam Newton in New York. So you got to do what you got to do, my man. Aaron Rodgers, 2-time league MVP, Super Bowl champion. He won league MVP. What was that, like 2 years ago? So he's old, but he recently won an MVP in the quarterback position. Is if they got good linemen, they got a good strategy where they can keep them clean, keep them off the ground, keep them out of harm's way. I think Aaron Rodgers could be a valuable asset for them for the next 2 years. But do I think that makes them Super Bowl contenders? No, I do not. So whatever you got to do to break the bank or make a few more trades or dump some of this talent so you can go out and actually shop for new talent, I think that the Jets are not done. I think that they're going to make a few more moves, and they're probably going to dig deep for some people that we, ain't heard their names in a while, just to add them to the roster, just to have that depth, so that when it gets to like the playoffs, you could bring out a dude for 5 plays, and he maybe could make 2 plays that change the dynamics of the game. That's the difference between football and basketball, is that they play minutes. In basketball, you got to log 15, 20 minutes to make an impact. In football, you could play 10 plays. And if I'm a pass rusher and I come in on 3rd downs and I play 10 plays, but I make 2 sacks on those 10 plays, I had an all-star game in 10 plays.
Mm-hmm.
So football is completely different from basketball. It's definitely based on the moment and the opportunity. And if you in for that one play and you got the opportunity, you can have an all-star player of the game moment. And you don't need 4 quarters in a certain amount of time to make that impact on the field like you do in basketball. So I think Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to make a big impact, but I still don't think that it's enough to get the Jets over the hump in the AFC. You already said, Baltimore added OBJ. I think that Lamar Jackson's going to come back with a vengeance. He's already been injured for an extended amount of time before the playoffs, so he's had extra rest. So he's going to be extra motivated to come out. And I think that Baltimore, the Bills, and the Chiefs are still the top 3 teams in the AFC before the Jets, even with adding Aaron Rodgers. But let's get to this hip hop news, man. So Pras, man, we all know the Fugees, man, is one of the only albums to win like I think album of the year, hip hop album of the year at the Grammys. Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, and Pras. They made the group the Fugees. And Pras was found guilty of political conspiracy, and he came out that he was an FBI informant. Now, it's not telling us how long he was an FBI informant, but it has to be something political because you're being found guilty of political conspiracy and you're found that you were an FBI informant. How are you affecting politics by being an informant and being a rapper at the same time? What is actually going on? And what does this actually mean, political conspiracy? I don't think I've ever seen anyone be charged with this charge. What are your thoughts of this? And how many rappers you think are undercover informants in the game right now? We got a lot of like hip hop police making these RICO cases out of nowhere all the time. You think that is FBI informants in all of these crews, and that's how we're getting all these RICO cases?
I think so. It just makes me want to go, ooh la la la, la 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 la, and this is killing me softly. Where it's weird and crazy to me is, okay, you found guilty for political conspiracy, so you found guilty in a court of law, but that same trial that you're going through, they don't know that you work for the FBI. That's kind of weird. That's like this. I don't know what's like. How you found guilty for something, but they don't know you work for the FBI?
Isn't that supposed to get you like immunity, or aren't they supposed to like cover for you?
Yeah, you shouldn't even be in a court if you work for that. Like, and be like, hey, we're gonna take him to court. Shouldn't the FBI be like, nah, he worked for us? Oh yeah, we forgot. But other than that, that's the confusing part. Now, to answer the question, like, dang. So if you do work for the FBI, and that is true, because it might not be true, because if they didn't even know, and you found guilty, so maybe you don't work for the FBI. But I think so, man. I think not everybody ain't on this. There's some people that is in it for themselves. And I think there's snitches. I mean, the word snitch didn't come out of nowhere. So, I mean, I think there are, well, it's not a snitch. There are informants. There we go. That's a better term. There are informants out there. And I don't think he is the only one. You see it in movies all the time. These movies ain't fake. Hey, listen, you do this, we don't come out with that.
Mm-hmm. So
but you got to do this.
Have you seen The Black Messiah?
No.
Okay, so it's a story about Fred Hampton, which was one of the leaders of the Black Panther Party. And it was about an informant that infiltrated the Black Panther Party and helped, set up and kill Fred Hampton. And this is like our history is that every time as a Black community we try to build something, that's the number one thing that they do is they send somebody to infiltrate us, to get close to us so that they can have that inside man. If you know anything about the corporate world and about business, is that they will not make a move without an inside man. They will actually plant somebody, get the information, and then make a move based off that information. Without an inside man, a lot of corporate businesses will refuse to do deals with somebody in which they don't have an inside track on. So 9 times out of 10, there is an informant or a mole or somebody that's already pre-snitching before all of this in a YSL RICO charge. You don't think that that after everybody got picked up, this was the first contact that they had with the police? There's definitely some people that have been already in previous contact with the police. And when they took everybody in, they already knew who was going to take the deals and who wasn't, because we already knew who our informants was. They're the ones that helped us put this RICO together in the first place. So I already think that there's like, we've been hearing about the hip hop police for years. Even when it was like Tupac and Biggie times, we was like, well, why don't they never find the killers of any of these rappers if they're hip hop
Mm-hmm.
police infiltrating all of these groups? If you had informants in death row, then why couldn't you solve the murder of Tupac? If you had informants
Mm-hmm.
over there with Biggie, then why didn't you find the killer of Biggie? You had informants over there with Murder Inc. You you basically took down their whole record label and said, "Oh, well, you started this label with drug money and took down Supreme." You you use the information. I think that a lot of people don't understand is that they already have you doing something illegal, and they can always pull out that smoking gun and charge you with it anytime that they want. So you think that cooperating is going to get you out of something, but if you've never been formally charged and taken a plea deal to plea out of that charge, then they can pull that smoking gun out at any time and charge you with it. So when it comes to this Pras situation, I believe that he was a informant and he did some illegal shit, and he no longer will follow the directions that they was telling him to do. And they was
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, well, we had the smoking gun for 10 years that we've been sitting on, and now we're gonna pull it out and convict your ass of it. And if you look at his face, he can't believe this is happening to him. Look at his face. Look at his
Mm-hmm.
eyes. He like, oh my God. I told them everything. I turned on my homies. I did my own people wrong, and they still doing me like this. We just got done watching Snowfall, and you mentioned Snowfall. He sold drugs for the CIA, and what happened? 73 million. He thought he was gonna walk away, and they took every single last dollar from him. And so they're trying to show you that, man, there's nothing to get out of the street life anymore because the risk is not worth the reward. There will be no more Big Meeches. There will be no more Larry Hoovers. There will be no more what's the dude name? Man, there's so many drug kingpins I can't think of them. But I think that those days are over. When you even had the rappers like Fetty Wap and these dudes getting caught in these drug rings, like a lot of these rappers are selling drugs and doing illegal stuff and then turning around and using that money to fund their rap career, not understanding that that's exactly what happened with Murder Inc. And unless you prove that record label or that shit was started with some clean money, it's racketeering, and you can go over here and go to jail for selling drugs and then having a successful rap career off of it. So I think that it's really time that
The
we
only people
educate.
that can do that is the government.
So we really have to educate, and we really got to find a different lane. Like the streets is dead, the streets is in the shamble, and now look at the rap game. The rap game is dead, and all the street niggas want to be in the rap game. So this shit is dead, 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 man. Stay out the streets, man. Stay in school, get an education, find purpose with your life. And it ain't even necessarily about an education. It's about purpose, knowing what you want to do and how you're gonna do it. Once you
That.
figure that out, everything else is irrelevant. You just gotta wake up every day and get to it.
Yep.
Well, let's get to this last topic, man. So we already know Smoking Joe.
Smoking Joe.
He has officially announced his candidacy for 2024. And when he announced it, they were already asking him about his age, saying that, aren't you too old to run? And asked him how old he was. And in a joking manner, he stated, I'm too old that I can't even say the number. And it's like, okay, do you even know how old you are? Or are you just joking? Like, I don't know, man. This guy is senile. If he's 88 and he's gonna go be president for another 4 years, we're gonna have a 92-year-old president. This makes
Mm-hmm.
absolute no sense. they definitely have to institute some type of law to put a cap on an age for these presidents, because you cannot be running the presidency and running the country at a frail age in a frail state like that. Like, you can't be 90 years old trying to run America. It shit makes no sense. What's your thoughts on this, man?
To put this in context, my wife's grandma, she is, I may be wrong, but she is about 80, I think she's 85, 84, 85. Her and Joe Biden are like the same age. So that means if we let her be the president of the United States. Now she's more in her right mind than what Joe is, and she's still doing her thing. But if we put Joe Biden, let him do it. Let's say he's the same age as my señorita, right? So let's say he's 85. You do your term for 4 years. That means this dude's going to be 89. Almost 90 years old. And people are going to vote for him not based upon anything other than two things. One, I don't want Trump in office. Two, I don't want a Republican in office. That's it. This is why the country is how the country is. This is why we are paying for a war that we're not even in. This is why China's saying, hey, you know what? The dollar doesn't mean anything. This is why they're trying to reverse a law to be able to tap into your phones, into your... Oh, perfect example. We already getting listened to. I mean, I was doing an Instagram live for the school, and the school is not a creator account, it's a business account. So when you're a business account on Instagram, you don't get the all the music, like the Spotify music, right? I was doing a live. Instagram heard the music in the background on campus and cut the live off and put up a thing that says, you may be using copyrighted music and you're a business account. How do you know there's music playing in the background?
Mm-hmm.
You listening. And Joe's saying, hey, we ain't even going to ask permission no more. We're going to just do it. And so we want to put this man back in the office, and it's like a repeated cycle. He's going to say the same thing because all these politicians say the same thing. At the end of the day, we need the black vote. We need the black vote. We need the black vote. They all said it. Last time Joe ran, he said, if you ain't black if you don't vote for me, something along those lines, right? And then, I got Kamala, or however you say her name. I got her. Have you even heard from her? No.
Yeah,
right. And we're gonna put this man, and we about to put this man back in office again. Smoking Joe. How many shootings have there been under Joe Biden, and how many has he really talked about? And all he talks about is taking guns away. Listen, now I understand taking guns away, but I don't know many. Let's say you take the guns away. I don't know many criminals that are going into gun shops and getting registered to go kill somebody. They ain't doing that. So you take the guns away from us, guess what? We ain't gonna have guns to protect ourselves, but the criminals are still getting theirs with the serial number scratched off. Are we thinking? Like, I don't know, bro. This is crazy.
Because he wants you to rely on the government. He wants you to rely on the police force. And as black people in America, that's the last position that we want to be in, is having to rely on the police force that has never stood by us or done anything for us. And that just has nothing to do with cops. There's some good cops out there, so we're not downing all cops or the profession of cops. We're just stating the history of the police force and black people in America states that it's not a positive thing for us. It's not a positive experience, and it doesn't bring us any type of protection in America. I mean, one of my fondest moments with the cops is that my dryer caught on fire. I'm coming home from work. It's 2:30 in the morning. I get home. My wife is screaming that the house is on fire, and she runs outside with the dogs. And one of my dogs run back inside. I have to take my shirt off to run inside to get the dog, cover my mouth. I come out. I got no shirt, no wallet, no nothing. The cops show up. They're like, "Who's on the lease?" We like, we are. They're like, no, who's the people on the lease? So we already offended. Like, you don't believe that a black couple could afford an apartment? Like, we can't be on the lease? Then he's like, oh, who are you? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, can I see your ID? And I'm like, why
It's
do you
on
need my
fire.
ID? And he's like, because I want to make sure that you are who you say you are. I'm like, my ID is inside the house that is on fire. If you want to run in there and get it, you're welcome to run your ass in there and get it yourself. Well, I ain't trying to hide who I am. We called you because our house is on fire. We didn't even call you. We called the fire department. So why is the police showing up in the first place? We don't even want your ass there. We ain't calling you. You can't do shit for the fire.
Oh
You
my
gonna do the same
God.
shit for the fire we could do. So we don't even need you there. So why you there responding, even asking us questions? Why do we have to respond to like that shit right there? Was like a
That's
eye-opening
horrible.
like instance where it's like, damn, my damn house on fire, and because I got a nice apartment in a nice area, they can't believe that I live here, and they gotta be want to run my name and see if I'm some type of drug dealer or something because they can't believe that a black man can't work hard to have the things that he has. And this is the experience in America, man. And Joe Biden and Trump are both not making anything better for us as a people in America. So whether it's Joe Biden or whether it's Trump trying to run again, it really means nothing to us because what does it do for black people? Absolutely nothing. And a lot of black people are like, oh, bring Trump back. At least I was getting dollars. Yeah, you was getting dollars because guess what? He knew that your black ass would take that stimulus check and go buy a bunch of shit and put the money back in the rich people pocket. So they gave black people, they gave the poor people stimulus, but guess what they gave the rich people? A tax break, a tax write-off, opportunity zones to get more business so that they can get more richer. So we taking a handout while they're taking tax cuts and tariffs and all type of other stuff in which they can increase their revenue. So a lot of millionaires went to billionaires while we got $1,200 stimulus check and some PPP.
And don't forget that he gave us the money when election season,
Mm-hmm.
and he lost. You don't think he forgot that? So
I,
you bring him back, you think he gonna forget that? Like, hey, I lost. I gave y'all money and I lost.
I think that the only upper hand that anyone has in this race is that Trump is the only president in the history of any president that I've known or ever seen that personally offered something to black people. I know we shot it down and we talked shit about it, but at least he had the decency to say, hey, if I get elected, this is what I'm specifically going to do for black people in America. And even the first black president didn't do that shit for us. So that's the only upper hand I would give Trump, even though he's a fucking racist shithead. Is even though he don't like black people, at least he's offering to do something specifically for us, which no other president has done. Joe
At
Biden
least
ain't
he
got shit
listened to
for
the
us.
Ice Cube thing. At least
Uh-huh.
like Joe Biden in his presidency, what is about to come up on his 4 years. He ain't nowhere in there say, hey, Ice Cube, that same thing that you presented to Trump, let me see it.
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't do that. Like, you don't care. But you're going to care about us what, next year? You're going to care about us next year because, black people, I need your vote. Vote for me.
Oh, watch, we about to see Kamala come out of nowhere, watch. We about to see her
Mm-hmm.
all over the place. She about to be having chucks on, walking on stage. We're going to be like, oh, man. We're going to see her dub walk one time. We're going to be like, oh, this is where she been at. And then right
And we
after they
going
get him
right into it.
reelected, she going to disappear, right, like she's done. But I think that was the whole plan, was to get Biden reelected. And then within a year or so, after his reelection, then they're going to be like, oh, he's not fit to lead. So we're going to move on towards Kamala. And then she's going to take over the last 2 years. And because she wasn't technically ever president, then she can run for her own candidacy. And then you can run her for another 4 to 8 years and keep the country for the next 12 years.
And we so simple sometimes. And I think that's what they know. Like, they know the psychological game. And they know sometimes we just so simple. If you go off of that, people are going to just vote for her because she looks black. She ain't black, I heard. She looks
She's Middle
black.
Eastern.
Yeah, she looks black and she's a woman. So it's like, oh, we're making history. The first black woman. So we gotta vote for vote for Joe so this can happen. And we don't base it off of knowledge. We just base it off of, like, I ain't gonna lie, I voted for Obama. I voted for Obama because he was black. And then then years later, I'm thinking and then being on this show, I'm like, why the hell did you vote for Obama? I was like, I don't even know. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even look at the ballot. I was like, oh, he black.
You see, but politics is something that was never really talked about or discussed in the homes. It wasn't talked about on the blocks. It wasn't talked about anywhere in our life. It's not something that is taught in our schools. Nowhere do they teach us about the political system. So unless we specifically go out and seek this information, this is something that doesn't even, we know it exists, but it's something that we don't really participate in. And then if you're a preacher, if you're a nigga that's out there, trying to stretch, they call you a hotep, or you a
Mm-hmm.
hotep ass nigga. And that's the new thing is, if you a nigga that's trying to spread knowledge and teach motherfuckers shit, you a hotep. And niggas don't like hotep ass niggas. So this is why on this show we start with the sports and the bullshit, because that's what we know y'all niggas like. But at the end of the day, we still gonna give you this knowledge and we still gonna give you this information, whether you want it or not, because that is the real purpose of these conversations. I mean, we can talk shit to each other about sports all day and night. We don't need a podcast for that. We don't need a platform for that. But for this information, this is extremely necessary. And that's why we do what we do here at PolitiKan.
And think about it, man. You give them the knowledge and everything. And I really started thinking about politics and stuff when I got on this thing. And I really started thinking yo, okay, when election starts again, that is the first time most of us are looking at the ballot and everything. You're making a decision on who you're going to vote for and everything based upon, you should be making that decision now, not when it's voting time. Because when you wait when I voted for Obama, I was like, okay, it's just Obama. Okay, cool, quick. But not knowing that, hey, guess what? He running this for the next they running your life for the next 4 years. So if you vote for Joe, you're going to give him 8. You vote for Trump, he technically got 8 as well. I'm just saying, man. Thank you for doing what you do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that, man. It's purpose, and once, like I mentioned earlier, once you find purpose, it clears everything up. It's like you see clearly. Nothing can stop you from reaching your goal. Only thing that can stop me is if I quit, and that ain't an
Mm-hmm.
option. But let's get some shout outs before we get up out of here.
Man, I say shout out to me and you. Like we jumped on this thing, ain't nobody else up in here. Shout out to us. Keep being consistent, bro. You keep doing your thing. Keep dropping that knowledge, because the world needs it. They don't want to hear it, but when you on your deathbed and you about to be peace out to the world, at least you can be like, I told y'all niggas. I told y'all. Y'all just didn't want to listen. And sometimes we don't want to listen until it's too late. So keep doing what you're doing. Hey, and then for everybody that you see that number down there, that's my accountability. You need accountability, text that number. I keep you accountable. That's it, bro.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, man. But yeah, man, consistency, man. I think that one thing that sports teaches you, man, is to leave it all out on the field, leave it all out on the court. Because if you don't, then you're gonna live with regret. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when you lose that game or you lose that or you don't make that shot, you think about the practice you didn't do or what you could have done to be ready for that moment or what the opportunity that you missed out on that could have changed your life for the better. So the first thing that we doing is like Yah says, we getting off the boat of average. We ain't sitting back waiting for opportunities. We creating opportunities. We ain't sitting back waiting for skills. We going out and we attaining them. We grabbing them. We grabbing them by the throat and we taking hold of them. We're no longer waiting for nothing, man. We're gonna leave it all out on the field. And I don't know what you're gonna do with your life, but I'm gonna get to it, man. PolitiKan the podcast. We out.